Now, with global energy markets still in turmoil, the RACs this morning raised its petrol price predictions. The motoring organisation says the average cost per litre will top £1.60 this week, with diesel set to hit £1.70. The cost of filling an average family car with diesel has already topped £90 for the first time, and in some parts of the UK, the costs are much higher still. As this cost of living squeeze tightens, Rishi Sunak's coming under pressure to do more to help struggling households in his upcoming spring statement, due on Wednesday the 23rd of March. Designed to be a sort of mini-budget, the Chancellor's spring statement is taking on huge importance in light of this military war between Russia and Ukraine and the related East-West economic conflict. The highly respected Institute for Fiscal Studies says the cost of living squeeze means Sunak faces, quote, a huge judgment call over whether or not to borrow more, given the vast amounts spent on furlough and other pandemic measures. As fuel and energy prices spiral, will the Chancellor do more to protect those on moderate incomes from rising energy costs, asked the IFS. If not, the public faces the biggest hit to household incomes at least since the 2008 financial crisis. Now, today's IFS report focuses on the 1 in 5 of all workers employed by the public sector, including doctors, nurses and state school teachers. As the cost of living rises, Sunak's going to have to find more money from somewhere, says the IFS, to avoid a painful public sector pay squeeze. There are around, 5.7 million public sector workers. And even before this Russia-Ukraine conflict, inflation was on course to reach around 7% this year as the cost of living squeeze bites. If public sector pay is to keep up, even with this inflation rate, the Chancellor needs to find an extra £10 billion, says the IFS. That's equivalent to an extra 2 pence or so on the basic rate of income tax. During this COVID pandemic, our youthful Chancellor borrowed heavily to fund anti-COVID health measures and support schemes. Now this Russia-Ukraine conflict and related East-West economic war puts our public finances under even more pressure. As inflation rises and living standards slide for millions, what can the government actually afford to do? And that's our On the Money question today. Can Rishi Sunak counter the cost of living squeeze?